We didn't retire rich.
We didn't win the lottery.
And we didn't have some perfect master plan either.
Yeah, but what we did have is a moment where we realized that if we didn't change something now, it's never going to change.
And if you've ever felt stuck like we did, burned out like we did, or wondered if early retirement or slow travel is actually possible for normal people, then I think this video is for you.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, we just kept saying what I'm sure a lot of you say, or have heard yourself say, or heard others say, is that, well, just a few more years, work hard now, you can rest later, 6 feet under maybe, or that's just life. That's just how life works.
Is. Yeah, but the truth is that our time isn't guaranteed. Tyke has lost his father. I've lost both of my parents. We've seen loved ones go quickly, unexpectedly. So time is not guaranteed, and our energy is not unlimited. We know that as we're getting older, things are getting slower and harder, and health isn't something that you can get back later.
Yeah, and we didn't want to wait until we were like old enough, comfortable enough to finally live.
So we asked ourselves one simple question: what if we stopped waiting? What a simple question, right? What if we just stopped waiting? What if we just decided to retire now? And so that's what we did. Tyke retired about a year before I did, and then I just got tired of working while he was retired, and I just said, you know what? By the time I'm turned 55, I'm going to retire. And we did. And the way we made that possible is we sold everything, and we decided, why not travel Southeast Asia? It's really inexpensive. We started researching what life could look like outside of this traditional path of work until you're 70. And Southeast Asia just kept coming up over and over and over.
We discovered it wasn't just cheap. I would substitute that word for inexpensive, because the quality of life there is quite extraordinary. And in some really ways, I would say even better than here in the United States.
Yeah, the quality of life is high. The people are so kind. The pace is just slower. It's just really relaxed and nice. Healthcare is accessible.
Healthcare.
If you've seen our video on seeing a doctor in Vietnam, you'll know that healthcare is very accessible and like top notch. And your money just goes farther.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you can just stretch that dollar really, really far.
Yeah.
So instead of surviving, we decided we wanted to actually live our lives.
And the numbers are numbers. Some people live on less, some people have more, but it's really relative to you. So if you feel like, man, if I stop today, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my mortgage, etc.? And that creates a lot of pressure within your, first and foremost, you and your relationships and your families and things like that. And we've all heard the phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. Well, I can tell you, once you check out of that system, so to speak, no one really cares.
No.
They don't care what you have. They don't care what house you have, the car you drive. None of that. It's no longer a thing.
No. So just really dwindled our budget down to the bare minimum. And then we have been slow traveling Southeast Asia, and everything is so cheap. We actually just booked another month-long stay in Thailand for $450 a month. So we realized that living simply in Southeast Asia, it's going to cost way less than staying stressed back home. So that just changed our whole world. We decided to start slow traveling. This is really important. We're not on a never-ending vacation.
Yeah.
We are slow traveling. So we're just living the same life we would back in the States, but we're doing it in Southeast Asia.
In another country.
Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia,
even
Philippines, China, Hong Kong, staying weeks at a time or a month at a time in one place saves you a little bit more money that way on your accommodations. We do grocery shopping. We've made lots of friends.
Yeah.
Slow travel isn't about checking things off of a list. Or countries off of a list. It's just about living the life that we want to live, just somewhere else.
And transparency and honesty, it's less stressful. I mean, when you don't have to get up in the morning and go to work and put in your time, and we all work more than 40 hours a week, let's face it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is it's so much less expensive than the United States in almost every aspect. There's a few exceptions, but nothing that you couldn't get through the day without.
Right.
And then
we were just talking the other day about like a Snickers bar in the U.S. is like $2, sometimes a little more than $2. And we have a candy that we like in Southeast Asia that's kind of like a whatchamacallit bar, like kind of like a candy bar, and it's 60 cents. No, what was it? 30 cents.
30 cents.
It's 30 cents for a
the
candy
large
bar.
One. For their large
And then
version.
if we go to Starbucks, we like to get a refresher at Starbucks, and they're like $5 or more. And there's a drink that is just as refreshing that we like in Southeast Asia that's 60 cents for the drink. So it's a huge difference, and it makes a big dent in your budget.
Yeah, it really does.
And we also have the emotional side. So that's something that people don't usually talk about. Early retirement isn't just a financial decision, it's also an emotional one. So you have to let go of things like expectations, opinions, especially sometimes they're your own beliefs that you have, and sometimes they're other people's opinions. And then the idea that your worth is based on your job. Your worth equals what you do for a living, which is not true, but we have that emotional attachment to, I am a nurse. So if I stop working as a nurse, what am I? So you have to kind of overcome that, and it does feel scary.
You can at first. You kind of have to find your groove. I mean, when I stopped working, I had to film. My days were set in stone at work. I knew exactly what I was doing and what dragons I was going to slay that day and everything else. And then I had to adapt to a different schedule, one that was mostly of our own doing between Tina and I. But after a while, it was so freeing not to have to worry about who do I have to please today at work, and who's going to bust my chops when I get to work today, and what HR issue do I have to deal with, etc. When you're retired,
all of a sudden you wake up excited again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel present. You feel free. And not every day is perfect. We're not here to say that. We'll always be honest with you. But every day feels intentional. And that's what this channel is really about. We're not here to pretend that everything is perfect, because we all know that life is not perfect. You're going to get thrown some curveballs. But it's going to be about real numbers. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. Real life. And the good, the hard, and the unexpected. That's what we're going to talk to you about in this channel. So if this video resonates with you, we would love for you to subscribe and stick around and follow along in our journey. We're not here to tell you what to do, but we are here to tell you what is possible.